Good afternoon. I'd like to call to order the February 27th meeting of the Board of Police Commissioners. The time is approximately 4:45. We have a quorum with Commissioner Lopez and Commissioner Collier-Clemens. First item on the agenda, approval of the minutes of January 23rd, 2023. Do I have a motion?
I move approval of minutes of January 23rd.
Are there any corrections, deletions, omissions?
Yes, on page 5. The third bold section, or Sergeant Tomasz Podgorski to Lieutenant. That line that says Commissioner, it does not state which commissioner moved to approve the promotion. And I believe that was Commissioner Collier-Clemens.
Any other corrections?
Yes, under Sergeant Kevin Markert to Lieutenant, where in the parentheses, it says the commissioners offer congratulations to Sergeant Tomasz Podgorski. This is a duplication of the congratulatory to Tomasz Podgorski, and there's none to Kevin Markert. I think that may have been a mistake.
Okay.
And those are the only corrections that I have.
Commissioner Lopez?
I have none.
Department chiefs?
None.
Okay. So all in favor of approving the minutes as corrected?
Aye.
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 Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is public participation. Do we have anybody that wishes to address the Board of Police Commissioners?
There is no one raising their hand there.
Okay, thank you. Next item on the agenda is the Civilian Award for Supervisor Dispatcher Corey Robinson. I see he has joined us as an attendee.
Yes, sir. Deputy Chief Blake nominated Supervisor Robinson for this award. Supervisor Corey Robinson is a 13-year veteran of the Norfolk Combined Dispatch. In addition to his supervisory duties on the 3rd Platoon, he also manages our 911 system. In 2022, Supervisor Robinson requested training with NextGen in order to better serve the department. The training that he completed allowed him to update the response protocols in NextGen for the Norfolk Fire Department. Working with NFD Assistant Chief Ed McCabe, Supervisor Robinson placed additional information and updates into NextGen. Every update Dispatcher Robinson added to NextGen helped to expedite and streamline the fire dispatch process. The project has been no small task and has been ongoing for several months. Supervisor Robinson's knowledge, aptitude, and hard work have improved the quality of the center, which makes the community we serve safer. He's done a great job. As you know, Deputy Chief Blake used to supervise him, so all accolades to Supervisor Robinson. He does a fine job here.
So it's pretty much a self-initiated kind of. So
Yes.
I'm sorry, the host muted me. That's a pretty much a self-initiated project or workload. Is this something that he was assigned to do, or that?
I think Deputy Chief Blake could further explain that, but I do believe he took it upon himself.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, we determined there was an issue with we could do things better. And as a result of that, Supervisor Robinson took on that, educated himself, asked for that training, and then just executed that mission fantastically. It's been a great improvement in there. And again, I think the Assistant Chief McCabe would echo my thoughts on this.
That's always nice to see somebody taking on that added initiative, and especially in the area of public safety. Because when you're dispatching, you know how important it is to get that information, get it right, make sure that the responding officers have or firefighters have all the information that they need in order to get there safely, in order to protect the public, in order to protect themselves. So this is quite remarkable, and I thank and congratulate Supervisor Dispatcher Corey Robinson. Commissioners?
Yes, I
agree.
also would like to congratulate him on his self-initiative in requesting training that will make the dispatching more effective and will save more lives and be more efficient. So congratulations to him in taking that initiative and loving his job that much.
I couldn't agree more with both Mayor and Commissioner Clemens with regards to, how Officer Robinson just took the task upon himself and basically showed service above self, which is really important here for the well-being of others.
Thank you. And again, Dispatcher Robinson is on if you'd like to say anything. I don't know if he can be unmuted or made a panelist. There he is. Congratulations, Corey. Is there anything you'd like to say in response?
No, it was a good project, and I certainly appreciate Chief Blake really let me go with this project and offered his help. So he deserves a lot of this credit too. He really let me run with it, and it was very helpful to get this done. And I know the fire department appreciates it greatly.
Sure they do. It's another example of teamwork with police and fire. Hadn't always been like that.
No, not that. That's for sure. And we are certainly a very combined team right now. It's very good.
Well, again, thank you for taking the initiative. Okay, next item on the agenda is officers of the month.
Yes, Mayor, as you can see, we have 12 officers of the month. It was truly a team effort under a very stressful situation with shots fired. That'll be for officers Richard Montanez, Officer Bryce, Officer William Lowe III, one of the brand new officers who graduated training, was in field training, Officer Ariel Martinez, Officer James Yang, Officer Brancafort, who's also a new officer, Officer McSally, Officer Sagrita, Officer Smith, Officer Equi, Officer Gwynn, who's also in field training, and Sergeant Ramon Tejada, who was recently promoted to sergeant. On January 1st, 2023, they responded to a report of shots fired outside a bar on Van Zandt Street. Upon their arrival, they quickly gathered information on the suspect who had fired the gun after an altercation. They established the crime scene and were able to locate evidence. Led by Officer Montanez and his police service dog, Caro, and Officer William Will III, officers began to track the suspect who had fled on foot. PS2 Caro located the suspect hiding in a property located on Rowan Street. They were able to take the suspect into custody without incident. Based on their swift apprehension of the suspect and the preservation of the crime scene, the suspect was arrested for his role in the altercation and the shooting. Based on their teamwork, professionalism, and dedication to the community, they were able to locate and take this dangerous individual into custody without incident. Due to the swift actions on the scene, evidence was secured and witnesses and potential victims were located to gather cause for this suspect to be arrested for his role in the altercation and shooting. I'm honored to recognize him as January 2023 Officers of the Month. Just another great example of great teamwork and supervision, using many assets to locate this dangerous individual who had fired the gun and take this person into custody with a minimal use of force. Was an awesome job by the 1st Platoon.
I agree. Again, teamwork, professionalism, putting their lives on the line every day that they put the uniform on. And it's always impresses me how they always bring things to a closure in a positive way with little or no injury to officer or to a suspect. And that shows a tremendous amount of professionalism, patience, skills, and they make good use of their training because they know how to take care of a situation and bring it to a successful conclusion. So, commissioners?
I couldn't agree more with this, especially with their skill set that they demonstrated and the ability to, coordinate with one another, which was really awesome to establish the crime scene and also, all the evidence and witnesses. That was quite a feat. Congratulations to both.
I'd just like to congratulate all of the officers that were involved, and especially the new officers. Sometimes as a new officer coming on, you know what to do, but you're a little bit reluctant because you are new. And they were able to, add significantly to the apprehension of this suspect, and were able to put into practice what they learned in the academy. And we're proud that we have hired them for Norwalk Police Department.
Thank you. Our congratulations to all. And next item on the agenda, operations report. Deputy Chief Blake.
Thank you, Mayor and Commissioners. Good afternoon. As of January 31st, 2023, we're at 178 sworn personnel with 3 patrol officer vacancies. 186 6 days were used by sworn personnel, and 121.5 workman's compensation days were used by personnel, with 3 officers still remaining on long-term workers' compensation. Our Detective Bureau opened 59 cases in January, including a shooting case from Garner Street, where they identified 2 suspects very quickly and made 2 arrests on those suspects, again, locking up 2 dangerous individuals that had been engaged in a shooting into an occupied vehicle, or at an occupied vehicle. Our Special Services Division had 59 cases during the month of January. They had executed search warrants on Osborne Avenue residents, recovering a handgun, as well as narcotics, and arrested an individual that was wanted on 6 failure to appear warrants. In addition, they made 2 other fugitive arrests, one on probation violation charges, again from a shooting that occurred on North Main Street in May of 2022, and also an individual that was wanted in October 22nd, a firearm incident on Main Street. Our Special Victims Unit, again, busy, opened up 78 cases in January. They made some arrests after some threatening message were left at West Rex Middle School and McMahon High School. Their instruction continues to be ongoing for SROs. Our Behavioral Health Unit opened 32 cases in January. 46 cases in total, which dates back to December, have been addressed during that time, and 14 cases have been successfully closed. We also added our part-time social worker that joined the unit in the month of January. A traffic unit issued 51 citations, 51 written warnings, 22 verbal warnings, and conducted illegal school bus passing enforcement multiple times during January, as well as conducted selective enforcement operations over at Norden Place due to complaints of racing and reckless operation. Community Police did some outreach at Malta House, as well as our Rudner Court Learning Center in January. And they also conducted a meeting along with Chief Walsh with the local Cub Scouts. We had 5,877 calls for service during January. It's obviously a little over 100 calls from December of 2022. And we had 147 total arrests in January as well. The SE, the monthly SE, or Selective Enforcement Motor Vehicle, is attached as well. I don't know if you have any questions on that, but as you can see, we increased our motor vehicle infractions during the month of January.
Did you also locate anybody over at Norden Place or?
Yes, Mayor, we had located and cited 2 individuals. Chief Walsh was actually driving through and had located those individuals. And along with the patrol division, issued trespassing and motor vehicle violations for those individuals. We're working very closely with management up there, and I think we actually have a really good solution to what's going on up there to be able to stop the behaviors.
Good, thank you.
Hey, just to follow up on that point, we made contact. They met us out there at the property last week.
Yeah.
They're moving forward now. There's a company still in there, 5 employees, they'll be moving out soon. And we suggested to them to put fencing around the whole building and to prevent some blocks to the rear to prevent the drifting and the drag racing which has occurred. And they've boarded up the whole place, and there's a little bit more boarded up with some windows and things, but they're being a little bit more cooperative.
Thank you.
I'd just like to ask a question about the S&E report, operations report chart. Is it possible to make that larger, zoom in where we don't have so many incidences where it goes up to 340 that we can hardly see what the legend is implying?
Absolutely,
Is what
Commissioner.
you're
That
saying?
was- Yeah, absolutely. That was something I noticed and I'm working to get corrected for February.
All right, thank you so much.
Also, I have a question. I know I heard it mentioned and it came before us. Any results on the drag racing that has been reported?
Yeah, that's what Chief Walsh was just speaking about.
Okay.
In relation to Norton Place, yes, we have made some citations over there and working with management of the complex to basically fence up the whole area and prevent trespassing and that illegal operations of vehicles in there recklessly.
Thank you.
Any questions for Deputy Chief Blake?
Just, are we doing a better job of policing that we have this great increase over last year, this month, or just people more active or restless this year?
Are you referencing the call volume or the motor vehicle stops?
I'm looking at the chart that says for January comparing 2022 to 2023, the burglaries, the motor vehicle burglaries. I know they had gone down for a while, but the total for January was 17, and it's almost twice that amount for January this year. Is that because of better policing, because we got more police officers, or is there just more activity, or what?
Are you
It's,
referring to the red and blue chart?
Yes,
The
Yes.
major crimes?
Right.
There's been a slight increase in commercial burglaries. We had 2 compared to 5 in January 2022. We had 0 residential burglaries in 2022. We had 2, 2023. Larcenies have gone up, and most of those, we've been having a lot of fraud, a lot of check crimes, a lot of fraud. So the Detective Bureau is investigating a lot of check crimes, a lot of fraud cases. That's where predominantly all our larceny cases that are being opened. We're talking large scale fraud in the tens of thousands of dollars. So a lot of those cases are resolved by the banks, but they're timely, lengthy investigations. So we have seen a little bit of an uptick in those, especially the larcenies. And but more or less in regards to motor vehicle stops and other things like that, we're seeing some of the results of the officers graduating the academy a little bit more. They're leaning forward, pulling over cars. We've had a little bit more messaging out to the platoon supervisors and commanders for more self-initiated activity. Deputy Chief Blake has had a lot of communication with them. We've met with all the platoons. So we're starting to see an uptick in self-initiated activity, selective enforcement, where a lot of guys are just self-initiating. We're what we call selective enforcement. Let's say on Washington Street, they're sitting there and putting in their time. Just make sure they're showing a presence in certain areas to deter other things. So we're definitely seeing a lot more self-initiated activity.
okay, great. That's great. Thank you so much, Chief and Deputy Chief Blake.
Are there particular areas that are being targeted when you mentioned surveillance?
It's not really surveillance. What we do is it's like Norton Place. We've been having a lot of problem there. So we have a large amount whenever the post 7 is available. They're sitting over there and they're making themselves to deter. It's more or less it's a deterrence when they see the marked police car. And then the guys will sit on Washington Street or Wall Street during the heavy bar hours and evening hours, just to make themselves a visible presence in a marked police car. In other areas where we get traffic complaints through the traffic unit and community policing, We're always fielding emails. And so we push them out to community policing and they've been responding accordingly.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any further questions? Okay, next is the January training report. Are you going to give that also, Deputy Chief Blake?
Nah, I get to do that.
Okay.
Yes, for January, normal month for training. Kerma came in, they provided a driver training, refresher. They also did sexual harassment prevention, education and training. We also had a de-escalation class. We're continuing our de-escalation in ICAT, incorporating communications and tactics. Our goal is to provide that training through all personnel in the police department is the de-escalation and ICAT training. We did remedial directive training, which we put out via Power DMS, which is we just updated 13 directives. So that got pushed out via Power DMS. The crisis negotiation team did hostage negotiation training, their monthly training. We had another class of de-escalation training done by Sergeant Sellis and Sergeant Sherry. We had to put all our personnel through OSHA fire extinguisher because when the OSHA check came in, we have to certify all our officers of fire extinguisher. So we work with the Fire Marshal's Division and they came over here for a few hours a day in between lineups, and they actually have a simulator and we trained all our people. It's a virtual fire extinguisher. So we didn't actually have to spray a fire extinguisher. So all our people, it was an OSHA requirement. So we completed that. Plus a lot, as you can see, we're well over 100 officers with the fire extinguisher training. We also pushed out more body camera training via Power DMS, another class of driver training, Intoxilizer, which is the Draeger alcohol testing system. And our ESU team also trained twice this month, and they had rifle qualifications, weapon qualifications, and regular tactics training.
Commissioners, any questions?
I have none.
No, I have no questions. Thank you very much, Chief.
As we can see, going through this month after month, that we provide a tremendous amount of training for our officers. And I think we do probably as good a job of that as any police department anywhere. We've placed a lot of emphasis on training. Okay, next we have personnel matters. Why don't we take the did you check with Officer Mancini to see if he wants that in public or executive session?
Officer Mancini is present, but he also has the link for the executive session. So we should discuss that in executive and then maybe come back and vote on it in public.
Yeah, okay. So we can go through the other ones probably rather quickly. Are there any of the applications and stipends that you saw were
No,
lacking
I have
paperwork?
all that paperwork here. Kaiser Herrera passed the speaking proficiency for his stipend. And all the new officers, Neil Murdoch has provided his diploma for University of New Haven for his bachelor's degree. Officer Raul de Leon has provided his diploma from Fairfield University and a bachelor's degree. Officer Sean Segal has provided his diploma from Western Connecticut State University for his bachelor's degree. Officers Onar Segal has provided a bachelor's degree from Pace University. Officer William De Lima from Nyack College, Bachelor of Arts. And Sergeant Ryan Everett has put in an application for course approval from Sacred Heart University. He's ongoing his master's degree in public administration. He wishes to take public sector communications, which is part of the curricula for his master's.
Okay, well, we could probably go through these rather quickly if you've looked at all the paperwork. Everything is in order. We could probably, in all fairness to the officers, take them one at a time, so their name will appear in the minutes. So if we can go down the line moving, first, the language stipend for Officer Kaiser Herrera. Who's going to move that?
I move the stipend for Officer Herrera for is that language?
Yeah, language proficiency.
Yeah, language proficiency.
Okay, any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Next is a bachelor's degree stipend for Officer Neil Murdoch. Who's going to move that?
I
I
move the
move-
stipend
Okay.
for Neil Murdoch for his
questions?
bachelor's
Oh.
degree.
Any questions? All in
None.
favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Next is a bachelor's degree for stipend for Officer Raul De Leon.
I move that we have stipend for Officer Raul De Leon for the bachelor.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next is a bachelor's degree stipend for Officer Sean Segal.
I move bachelor's stipend for Sean Segal.
Any questions?
I have none.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next is a bachelor's degree stipend for Officer Onur Sengu.
I move that we approve the stipend for the bachelor's degrees for Officer Onur Segal for bachelor's. and-
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Next, we have a bachelor's degree stipend for Officer William De Lima.
I move bachelor's stipend degree for William De Lima.
Any questions?
Yes. I have a question.
Okay,
His degree is William, I don't know, is that
Cougar, yeah, I noticed, I caught that.
Boulart, Coulart, or Goulart? Chief, Deputy Chief, do you know? And was there a name change or what?
yeah, because, yeah,
That threw me off too.
Yeah, there was this, I just picked that up myself. I'd have to get back to you on that answer.
because I have a little yellow sticker on mine
Yes.
Yeah.
that says
Why?
William De Lima.
And this was done in 2019, so that's, reasonably recent. And I'm just wondering why this difference in the last name.
You want to approve it tentatively or conditionally upon the chief or deputy chief verifying what the action, that the William Goulart and William De Lima are one and the same?
Name clarification.
Yes.
Yeah. Pending
Yes,
name
I will.
clarification.
I will amend my motion for the stipend for William De Lima based upon verification and certification that he and William Goulart are indeed the same person.
Any further questions?
I have none.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next, we have a course approval for Sergeant Ryan Evarts.
I move that we approve the course approval for Officer Ryan Evarts for bachelor's and master's public administration.
Any questions? Comments? All in favor?
Aye.
I'm sorry, I do have a question.
Okay,
Was there a cost involved at all that we know of? Do we need to know the cost at all?
No.
No. Okay.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
generally
thank
after the class is over, he submits the cost, the invoice for tuition, and the
Okay.
city
his
reimburses him
grade.
50%.
Thank you.
It's based on his grade.
Any further questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That covers those. I'd just like to make a general question. I'm very impressed with the level of education of our police officers who continually strive for higher education. Once they get a bachelor's degree, many of them go right on to a master's degree. And I think that's, again, a commitment to their job, trying to improve their ability to serve the city of Norwalk.
I agree.
I totally agree as well.
Okay, now we will have to go into executive session. So I need a motion to go
Was
into
there, I'm sorry,
executive
was there
session.
another item there at the end from the Maritime? I'm not sure.
I don't see it. We have personnel and complimentary, but we'll have to come back for that.
Oh, okay,
Because,
Okay,
well,
I move we
Officer
go into-
Officer
move we go-
Mancini appears at the top. Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I move that we go into executive session.
Commissioner Clemens, Collier Clemens moves that we go into executive session. The time is 4:16.
and we come back here, correct?
Yes,
Okay.
all right, thank you. We are out of executive session. The time is 6:02 PM. During executive session, no motions were made and no votes were taken. Now, we are dealing with the request from Officer Mancini for a disability pension. Do I have any motion?
Yes, I move that the disability pension for Michael Mancini be denied.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
You're on mute, Commissioner Lopez.
Sorry, aye.
Aye, motion carries unanimously. Next, we have chief personnel matters and, no, not personnel matters, complimentary letters.
We received one from the Maritime Aquarium for Officer Lee and Officer Marker. They went over there and they did participated in a drill for their staff in regards to some active shooter things. They participated in some training. Right, the Maritime Center, and then we have another letter for Lieutenant Dinho and the community policing officers for participating in a funeral service at St. Joe's, which was very large, and they provided escorts and their service to the community for Lieutenant Dinho and the traffic unit.
Okay.
From Mr. Dormaville.
I see. And again, I always get these nice letters. And it's always nice when people take the time to write when the officers are doing something really good. If there's no further items coming before the police commission, the next meeting would be Monday, I believe, March 20th. That seem right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Monday, March 20th. Motion to adjourn is in order.
I move to adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye,
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned at 6:04. Thank you.
thank you.
Have a good night.
Have a good week.